Hello again everyone. I had intended to start today's video with a flight from Gloucester to Wellesbourne, but on getting my GoPro out I found that the battery was dead, and to be honest I didn't have the patience to wait for it to charge. So here we are, sat on the grass parking at sunny Wellesbourne Mountford.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
My longtime friend Neil had travelled up to be passenger for my first flyaway since achieving my NPPL. The flight over to Wellesbourne had been an interesting one, as a low cloud base meant we had to cruise at around 1400 feet, somewhat lower than I was used to. However, it was a lovely flight over, and we got on the ground at Wellesbourne for a sandwich and a brew. The plan for the second leg was to fly west over Worcester, then to fly over the Malvern Hills before heading back to Gloucester. By the time we were ready to leave, the cloud ceiling had lifted and it had turned into a beautiful day.
Here's the Vulcan. It's bigger than your plane.
One of the delights at Wellesbourne is that for departures on runway 18, you taxi past one of 3 remaining Avro Vulcan strategic bombers that are still taxiable. It's a beautiful aircraft, and I will begrudgingly admit theirs is indeed bigger than mine. We stop at the holding point to do our pre-flight checks. This is a series of checklist items that basically make sure the engine is within limits, the ignition and fuel systems are performing correctly, the control surfaces are functioning, the electronics are set, and that all the hatches and harnesses are secure. Once completed, we wait for a Diamond DA42 to clear the runway, and then we're on our way.
T's and P's okay, airspeed's alive. Up.
After takeoff, we made a turn to the west. It soon became clear that Neil had absolutely no idea where in the country we were.
This is Stratford.
Where is it?
Stratford upon Avon.
No way, I've got a friend who lives here somewhere.
Shakespeare's Stratford.
Yeah. Go ahead, go.
See the River Avon just by that?
Yeah, by the
Ferris wheel, yeah.
Yeah. The person I sent the picture to, she literally lives here.
We were on our way to Worcester, and it was turning into the perfect day for flying. The weather was beautiful, and the conversation truly stimulating.
Oh, it turned into a lovely day for it, actually.
Yeah, it's perfect. I kind of somehow think it's nicer with clouds because it gives you a real sense of...
Yeah, I do as well, yeah.
That you're actually up amongst it.
Yeah.
And actually, how much higher are they than us?
They're probably 300 feet higher than us, 200, 300 feet higher than us.
Oh, okay, so it wouldn't take much to kind of go straight through one.
No.
No, it's not a request. Just put my hand out the window, I'll catch a cloud.
After passing over Worcester, I make a slight detour to fly us over my house in Kempsey. We keep a good lookout to see if we can see my wife Hayley and our dog Skipper out in the garden.
She's not sorry. Oh, she's in the garden, I think. See you in the garden?
Yeah.
Give her a little wing waggle.
Woo! Yay!
We head out towards the Malvern Hills, and I climb up to 2,500 feet to ensure a good clearance between ourselves and the hilltops. As we approach, I realise that it's the perfect conditions for paragliding, and Malvern is a favourite spot for those who are enthusiastic about suspending themselves beneath a bedsheet.
Got to be careful on days like this around the Malverns as well with the paragliders.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in fact, what's that? Further out, our level,
Yeah, see, there's, yeah,
just above the hill.
Yeah. So, it's alright, I think if we go behind the hills we'll be alright. Quite close to us, isn't it? It's quite, yeah, they're right at height actually.
Yeah,
you know what? Not gonna risk it.
It was clear that the paragliders were operating at around the same height as us over the Malvern Ridge. We couldn't climb any higher due to the low cloud ceiling, so I made the decision to turn away. Shortly after, however, we witnessed an aircraft fly straight over the hills at the same height as ourselves and the paragliders. He must have been pretty close to the gliders as he passed through.
Ooh. Does he just come straight over the top of the hills?
Yeah,
Didn't really care about the paragliders then.
not so much.
Ooh. Literally, he would have gone straight over that middle section of that saddle. And I'm going to see it just covered in parachutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have just as much a duty to keep out of his way as well, to be fair, so.
Yeah, but they don't have quite the same manoeuvrability, surely? Or speed? You know?
And they come off worse.
Yes.
All too soon we were back over Tewkesbury, and I called in our approach.
Gloucester approach, Golf Tango Romeo, Oscar Whiskey over Tewkesbury at 2,000 feet, request join.
Golf Tango Romeo, Oscar Whiskey, Gloucester approach. Hello, make standard at join, runway 27 right hand, QFE 1006, report 3 miles.
Standard overhead join for 27 right hand, QFE 1006. Say again, report.
Report at 3 miles.
Wilco, Golf Oscar Whiskey. See the airfield?
Salto 129
Straight ahead of us with perpendicular to the main runway.
Clear of contact,
Oh, yeah.
returning to
Got it.
solid level.
Salto 129 Romeo, roger.
It takes a bit of tuning into what an airfield looks like
Yeah,
on,
it does,
on that sort of low angle.
It's much better, much easier over time to see it.
Salto 129
Some of the time, my first flights, like the instructors go there, and I'm like, what?
Salto 129
there.
Romeo, roger.
What?
Report clear of conflict.
You expect the runways to be
We are clear
clearer,
of conflict now, Salto 129.
but actually is the array of buildings.
Salto 129 Romeo, roger.
I think that's it, you get used to what the patterns of buildings look like, and that's kind of how you end up seeing it.
4,000 feet due to IFR
Yeah,
traffic
it's
inbound from the southwest
buildings,
of
isn't
the field.
DGCHQ, the
4,000
Oh, is that the round building?
The donut, yeah.
And contact Western Radar 132.3.
Gloucester Tower, Golf Tango Romeo, Oscar Whiskey.
Golf Tango Romeo, Oscar Whiskey, Gloucester, let's hear report TC on dead side.
Wilco, Golf Oscar Whiskey. The hardest thing about flying is learning the radio, to be honest, and being confident in it, because it's one of those things, no one cares if you fuck up on the radio, but you're terrified about it.
Oh, it's horrible. But I think you have to have a certain kind of type of brain. I really struggle with it. I can't verbalise like spellings.
It
And I
comes
really
with
struggle with
practice,
numbers.
though, that's all.
Golf Oscar Whiskey, runway 27, wind 100 degrees, 4 knots, clear to land.
Clear to land 27 Golf Oscar Whiskey.
There's still plenty of room for improvement in my landings. Today we came down with a little bit of a bump. I'll give myself a solid 6 out of 10. I think perhaps I'm rounding out or flaring a little bit too high above the runway. Something to look at next time.
Ooh, make the taxiway.
Golf Oscar Whiskey, vacant left 5 Delta 1, cross runway 22, taxi to parking or bounce.
Vacate left, taxi to parking, Golf Oscar Whiskey.
I slammed the brakes on to vacate early for a quick taxi back to parking and then celebrating in the traditional manner with a pint.